guys have ever gone and bought tree gear, you know how much it can cost. This might have been like $115. Totally serviceable, beautiful, beautiful Porta Wrap, works wonderful. Nothing wrong with it. But this is optimal for 1/2-inch rope. And when you go to a bigger rope, so when you put this rope through, you can see it's like quite hard to get it through that space. You have to cock it over to the side. And then when you get it over here, it's contacting right there. And because it's contacting, when you try to pull this tight, it's got lots of friction as you're pulling it tight before you wrap it. And it creates extra friction, which is fine. And it does fit the rope. But it's very, very, very awkward. And it's always been a little bit clumsy for guys, especially with leather gloves on. These spaces are just so tiny. So I'm going to build my own Porta Wrap. So I got this 5/8 rod, which is what he told me those were. I'm not super worried about the rod being like a larger size. I'm mainly worried about this pipe needed to be larger, and the size hole right here needed to be wider this way and deeper that way. So then obviously I got myself a larger pipe. This might be too long, but we'll construct it, and then maybe we'll make it a little bit shorter. We just need to know we can get the right number of wraps onto it. But we're going to drill holes in this to put the rod inside, and we're going to form one of these in the shop. But this was 30 bucks of steel right here to build a Porta Wrap that costs $230, so I could spend a little time on this and feel good about it still. Too small. Perfect. This pin is 1.25 inches, but I want it to go past this rope. Looks like 7/8 rope. I think 1.5 inches would be good of stick out. So 1.5 inches past here would be, that's 2 3/8. So 3 3/8. Let's just do 4 inches. Okay, now just need to weld this. It's hot. just had to cut this pipe off and use it for part of the bending process. That was one of my challenges on this, was figuring out how to bend that without, basically having problems. Bend it. Ready? Bend. Boom, baby. Ha-ha! That's hot. So I made my initial U. I figured out the length of this section is about double that. So that's roughly square by dimensions. So it's like 2 3/4 or 2 and something. I forget dimension. It's square, right? It's the same length it is wide. And then that one's about double. So right here I need room for like a bull rope to tie it onto the tree, and then it's got to have enough room inside there for a rope to pass, by that, whatever that is, which would be like a knot, potentially some form of a anchor hitch or something. So I marked out my lengths. You can see my little black markings right there. That's let's see, indicating where the pipe is going to be. Well, guys, I made a big mistake. I don't know if you can tell, but this end you're supposed to insert up and then around the post, and then it's supposed to have a pin right here. And I put my pin on the wrong side. Actually, I had it rotated 90 degrees, 180. Go. That's how it's oriented, and these pins are up and down. But I put this thing sideways in my vise to try it out, and I like it a lot more left to right. So I'm going to build mine. The orientation is going to be different. So instead of these pins, the way it's laying now, going along with that, it's going to be a little bit more awkward to store, but it's going to be up and down from this orientation. just had to heat this last part up with a torch and bend it so it had a slight angle towards the pin for install. When you first put that rope on, it helps to have a slight angle on this. I was tempted to leave it straight, but I figured it was better to stay with the original design. My workers have to put that in there, and anything I can do to make it faster helps us a lot. All right, so here's the finished product. I just painted it yellow because I had this high performance enamel, which is a good stuff to use on metal. So I used the arms here to the left and right instead of up and down. So I think the reason why the arm normally goes up and down is because it's better for stowing. But I wanted it to be functionally usable, so I went across. You can see that this component here goes all the way through the pipe, so that makes it more, even if that weld isn't perfect, the structure on this is designed to where when you're holding this rope and there's stress going around this rod here, it's borne through this pipe. So I went a little bigger with the size of with the length and everything, but I'm pretty sure this is pretty close proportionally to the other ones that are out there. This part here was kind of hard to get. This is where the whole loop was welded together, and obviously that's probably going to be my weak point. That's the one part of this thing that really worries me, is that if that weld isn't a good solid weld, I mean, I re-welded it and grinded it and re-welded it and grinded it, but it could still be a bad weld and come apart, so I'm going to have to do light rigging at the beginning. And then these spots don't concern me as much, but the area where the rope comes past this weld is another concern area. So like, how does it stress the rope? Does it damage the rope when it goes through here? I tried to use a grinder on that and smooth it over, but because if I was a better welder, that would be perfect to begin with no grinding. So we'll just have to see how that goes, but I think it's pretty smooth, and we'll know. If I ruin a rope, that's not a big deal. Ropes get ruined all the time. I think it'll be fine because the rope is mainly stressing on this thick pipe area. So that's how you do it, folks, and I'll let you know how this other pin design works out for us.